Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to share my ride impressions of a Canyon Air-Road CF SLX. I had an opportunity to do a bike swap with a channel viewer because I recently posted a video where I rode one of my steel frames in a fast group ride. And the title of the video was "Steel Frame Bikes Are So Much Fun." I was having a little bit of fun with some of my friends who ride carbon frames, namely Tarmac SL8s. And what Jorg basically said was that steel frames are fun and nostalgic, but cycling performance has moved on. He hopes that one day I find myself a really nice carbon frame with the right geometry, the right layup. And he feels that if I find that there's no way that I'll go back to steel. So I said, Jorg, you're welcome to take my bike out for a spin whenever you want to. And he jumped at the opportunity. He was like, absolutely, he would love it. But he said, as long as while he's riding my bike, I ride his bike. And what Jorg has is a Tour de France team edition that Team Alpecin de Koning rides in a size 55 beautifully spec bike with Shimano Dura Ace Di2 12 speed. He runs the bike in a one by configuration with a 1132 cassette in the back and DT Swiss 1100 wheels with those sweet 180 hubs. Do not go to sleep on those DT Swiss wheels. They are phenomenal. I've been riding a lot of different wheels over the last couple years, and those are seriously some of the best wheels that I have had an opportunity to roll on any bike in any condition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a little bit about my impressions. I'll talk about what it was like when I first got on a bike, and I'll talk about the bike on the flats and the turns, how it corners and responded, and then I'll give you my kind of like my overall feeling of what it was for me to ride this type of bike. All right, let's go. No, but seriously, Jorg is a great guy, and I really had fun meeting him and riding with him. So we agreed to meet up at Markham Park, and after some quick adjustments, we were on our way. We would ride for about an hour at a pace of 20 to 22 miles an hour mostly, and we would end up averaging about 19 miles an hour for the duration of the ride. Let's start with ease of fit. Despite this being on the max range of bike sizes for me, I was comfortable right away. Perhaps a lower stack would suit me better, but I felt good orientation over the bottom bracket, so I was able to ride the bike very comfortably. Now let's talk about rolling on the flats. This bike does that very well. It's aero, it's responsive, and it's what you would expect from a bike that's designed to get Mathieu van der Poel to the finish line as fast as possible. Now, the bike isn't twitchy, but it certainly feels like it's on a knife's edge, like it's really going to respond very quickly to whatever your inputs are, not in an overly reactive way, just like in a quick responding kind of way. It is a race bike, it is aerial oriented, and it does have a very aggressive 73-degree head tube angle. So that type of responsiveness is to be expected. Jorg is a very stable cyclist, so I felt very comfortable riding side by side with him in a bike lane. The bike tracks straight and true. It's not affected by road divots or road imperfections or anything like that. I will say this though, it is responsive to wind, swirly wind, even wind coming off of cars. But that probably has a lot to do with the aerodynamic profile of the bike, but mostly to those 62 millimeter DT Swiss 1100 wheels. So when you're riding this bike, it's one of those things that's like, you need to be paying attention. Next up, let's talk about cornering. Well, good and neutral cornering. Once engaged in a turn, the bike carves good and holds its line. Super predictable, super fun to take through the turns. The biggest impression that this bike gave me was the stiffness of the front and especially that bar. A couple times Jorg went hard out of a corner. I had a very good response from mashing on the pedals. The bike was very efficient and transferred power well. It feels more race bike than Grand Tourer, and as such, the ride, while nice, is not as refined as the Diamante and the SV bikes from Basso that I've been riding. So one of the things that I will say about this experience is that the Canyon Air-Road CF SLX is a all-out 100% single-purpose bike. It is an aero race machine, and it feels like it. Everything, the stiffness of the bike, the responsiveness in terms of the way how the bike corners, the way how the bike wants to respond to your input, all of that just screams 100% race bike. And it's one of those kind of things where there's nothing about the bike that I'd be like, oh, I would change these 5 things. The bike is perfectly fine the way it is. You adapt to the way how a bike responds after a while, as long as it's not performing poorly or it's not too extreme in any of its ride characteristics. So firstly, I want to thank York for reaching out and then giving me an opportunity to ride this bike. It really was a treat being able to ride a bike of this caliber and of this spec. I really enjoyed it completely. I think that's where I'm going to leave this video. Let me know in the comment section below what your experience has been riding Canyon bikes or dedicated aero race machines, whether or not you feel they're too twitchy, too stiff. And also let me know if you came off like overall bikes, like what I've been doing, if you've gotten used to the way how those types of bikes respond. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. All right, guys, I appreciate you continuing to support the channel by watching these videos, by liking, commenting, and subscribing. As always, our aim here is to inform, instruct, inspire. Be blessed.